Hello, it's Alison Heikkila. Thank you so much for joining me. It's time for day 2 of the Spellbinders 13 Days of Craftoween. What do you think is inside? Probably not what's on the cover if yesterday's cover was any indication. It was completely different, so I can't wait to find out. Okay, let's see what's inside this package. I really love the cover art. I know that I said this previously, but it's just so cool. Look. Oh, if you know me, you know I love crows and ravens, and that skull is fantastic. You don't even have to use it with the crow, but oh, it's so cool. So I die cut all of the pieces, including the monocle, out of copper cardstock. And I'm going to just piece everything together. I didn't think that you needed to watch me die cut all of those things. So I'm using my little pokey tool to remove some of the glue oozage that I had happening there. It's a good trick to kind of remove some of that if you go a little overboard with your glue. It just removes it quickly while it's still wet, because you can get it into those fine little crevices. And you could wipe it on paper towel. I tend to just wipe it on my hand because I'm a mess anyway. So I used that cool plaid paper from Queen & Company to die cut the bow tie and the ribbon for the top hat. And that'll come into play a little bit later too. Not the exact same thing, but something similar. So I had flipped over that ribbon for the top hat at first, but upon looking at the card, which is so nice that they have the pictures in there to show you exactly where everything goes, I realized that I had it upside down because it has like little cut lines into it. So now I'm going to glue the monocle in place. And I should have added the second part of the monocle, the chain or the cord or whatever. I wanted to make the whole thing copper. You can do separate colors if you want to, but I wanted it completely copper. I didn't actually need to add that second part, but I like how it gets built up. So now I'm going to fiddle with that bow tie a little bit. And I really shouldn't have done that because I should have put the other part of the monocle on there. So I'm going to realize in a second, like, duh, you shouldn't have done that yet. But again, you don't have to if you're going to keep it all the same color. I really wanted it to be metallic though. Look at how dapper he is. He's super steampunk, and I love that. I'm big into steampunk, and he definitely gives off that vibe. So if Halloween isn't your thing, you can maybe have him atop like a stack of books or a clock or something like that. You don't have to use the skull per se, but obviously I wanted to use all of the components that are in today's little parcel. So I took the bow tie off and I'm putting the other piece of the monocle, and I realized, oh, it's going the wrong direction because it's got that swoop, but it's not like a symmetrical swoop. So if it doesn't quite fit right when you first put it on, just turn it around and you'll realize that it was just upside down. Now the bow tie is on, and I'm going to play around with it again. Now I'm using paper for the bow tie. I probably should have used cardstock, or I could have cut a second piece, but it's fine. I'm using my white gel pen to just add a few highlights here and there. I could have used gray for the feet or the beak or the eye, but I just didn't want to. I wanted him to be as black as pitch. Just a couple of highlights just to give him some shine and some life. Oh, he's so cool. All right, so now he's going to get placed onto his little skull there. We'll call him Horatio. I don't know what the crow will be called though. What do you think? Should we give him a name? I think he deserves a name. He's very dapper. Okay, so let's move on to the tag. So that was the piece that I used for the bow tie, like I showed you before. I didn't have enough, so I grabbed another piece from Queen & Company that was similar, and I decided to use that as my ground. So this is the tag. It's the same tag that I used yesterday. It's a Manila tag from Avery. You can get them from Staples. And I'm using a pen, not a pencil, just so that I could really see it. And I'm cutting it just a bit bigger so that I can make sure that I line it up correctly and I can just trim off the excess. Sometimes when I freehand cut things, I make it wonky, and I just would rather cut it after it's all attached to the tag. Royal Treatment from Catherine Pooler is the perfect shade of purple to go with this pattern paper that I've got. I don't want to cover the whole thing. I just want to give it sort of a vignette look. I really like when things have a vignette. I use them with photo editing sometimes, and a lot of my cards have that kind of look. It just brings your eye in, gives kind of a spooky vibe, or maybe even a vintage vibe, and I just like the style. This stamp is from the Entomology stamp set from Tim Holtz and Stampers Anonymous. I'm sure you've got some type of text stamp in your stash. If you don't, just grab a pattern and you can use that. It's going to be perfect for this, especially if you use the crow on top of books or something. It would be really cool to have that type of background. I wanted some more shimmer and I wanted to tie in the monocle. So I grabbed my sheer shimmer spritz in copper and I just splattered that all over the background. And you'll notice that I didn't go to the bottom with the royal treatment ink. That's because we're going to have that paper hiding the bottom, so I really didn't need to do that. So splatter all over, and then I'm going to take a paper towel and just press, just to help it dry faster. I didn't feel like waiting. Look at that. Isn't that shimmer fabulous? Oh, love that stuff. Tricky to find the sheer shimmer spritz. Simon Says Stamp sometimes has it, maybe a couple of other places. I'll be sure to link it below wherever I can find it, but you might have to get it directly from Imagine if your favorite craft shop doesn't have it. So now I'm going to add Horatio and his friend. I really need to think of a name for the crow. I really do. I'll have to think about it. If I think of one, I'll put it in the comments. Needs something stately, you know? I'm going to let that dry, and then I'm going to grab the Stay Spooky stamp. This is the coordinating stamp set that comes in the Craftoween kit. You see it as soon as you open it, so it's not giving away any spoilers. And I'm going to stamp it on some black cardstock with VersaMark ink. I used my anti-static powder tool beforehand to make sure that I didn't have a powdery mess everywhere when I applied my embossing powder. I'm going to just tap that off. I have a little bit of extra bits there, so I'm going to just remove it with the pokey tool. If you don't have a pokey tool, you should get one because they're super helpful. I use them for so many things. And I heat set that off camera. Now I'm going to just trim this down. And I'm going to get it nice and close so that I have even borders on the top and bottom. And then we're going to add that there. But then I realized, oh, I need to trim off my edge. So I'll glue it and then trim off the excess because I hadn't done that before. I wanted to make sure that everything was glued in place. See, that's why I extended it a little bit more before. So this way I can just easily trim it and not have to worry about making a mess. Oh, so cool. I love it. I love this die set. I have this velvet ribbon and it was the perfect color. Like, it's almost as if I planned it. I did not plan it, trust me. I forgot that I had it. So I just looped that through and that's it. That is my tag for today. I hope that you love it. I certainly do. And I'll see you tomorrow for day 3. Be well, stay safe, stay spooky.